You are tuned in to the latest episode of the Sports Room Talk Show. More specifically, this is Step It Up with I'm the Max, that's the Boss. We might change the name of the show in the future to something along the lines to match our names of the Max and the Boss. I know his channel name is Seaboss. That's why he has that moniker. But I'm going to call him the Boss because it's just more fun that way.
I've had people I've actually had people who are fans of my channel and friends of mine call me the Boss, and it just makes me sound way more badass than I actually am.
By the way, quick shout out to a fellow NFL YouTuber, Cold Steel. He is a Pittsburgh Steelers YouTuber, but great guy. He's also a huge Pittsburgh Penguins fan. I've done a few video collaborations with him. I will be working with him in Week 18 when the Browns travel to Pittsburgh and go for the series sweep against the Steelers. He says, "What's up, you guys?"
Hey, not too much.
Yeah, so looking forward to working with you, Cold Steel. Thanks again for the nickname. That's how I got the nickname, the Max. But let's get down to business to defeat the Huns, right?
Yep, that's exactly what we're about to do.
Right. For those of you who might not know, that is a reference to Mulan.
Actually, that was one of my favorite Disney animated movies growing up. Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Raza has arrived. I saw Cole posted on his channel. Come check your channel out. Hey, I appreciate you tuning in to check it out. But we want to give a quick shout out to our alma mater, Notre Dame College in South Euclid, Ohio. They are a Division II school. Their men's basketball team went to Cleveland State University at the Wolstein Center in downtown Cleveland, and they beat Cleveland State. Yeah.
I'm impressed.
Now, for Notre Dame, this was just an exhibition game, but for Cleveland State, it was their first actual game of the season. So they're 0-1.
Oof.
Final score was 72-68.
Oh, wow. Close game, but high scoring.
Yeah. So just wanted to give a quick shout out to our alma mater, the Notre Dame Falcons, because it's not that often that you see a Division II team go to face a Division I team and actually come away with the victory.
Right. Usually those teams are paid to play the team to make them look better. You see it a lot in football, and you see a lot of times that sometimes it backfires. Michigan back in 2007
against Appalachian State. You are very correct about that. Go ahead.
Speaking of college football, the top 25 rankings have released.
Correct. We're not going to go through all 25 rankings because you, the viewer, can look that up yourself.
And it would take us a while.
Exactly. But we can just give you our top 10. I had it up on my phone, but it's not there anymore, so I'll just do it this way. I'll just pull it up on my phone, on my computer here. All right, so it went Georgia number 1. No shocker there.
Yeah, no shocker.
Ohio State came in at 2. Again, no shocker.
No shocker, although that game against Northwestern was ugly, but mostly due to weather conditions. They said something like 80 mile per hour, or not 80 mile per hour winds, but something close to that.
Yeah. So Georgia, Ohio State 1 and 2. Michigan comes in at 3.
Not surprising.
TCU comes in at number 4.
Oh, wow. They were what? They were, what, 8 last week?
They were 7.
7. Yeah, no. To jump all the way up into possibly a spot in the CFP, that is holy.
Yeah. And that, well, there's a reason TCU jumped up like that. Tennessee fell 4 spots to number 5.
Yeah, that,
I
because
mean,
they did lose.
when you get smashed like that against Georgia, I mean,
True.
the final score was 27-13, which makes it sound like it was a close game. I watched it. It was not a close game. Georgia dominated in every aspect of that game.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Tennessee was even able to score.
Yeah. When I saw that Tennessee was able to score touchdowns, I'm like, okay, those were probably just garbage time touchdowns that Georgia was like, hey, we'll let you score a couple touchdowns.
That's what I was thinking when I saw either, and maybe it was just a touchdown and 2 field goals.
That could be. I think.
I can't remember the last time a college kicker has missed an extra point, given how close the extra point is.
Right.
Because unlike the NFL, they didn't move it back.
Correct. So at number 6, we've got the Oregon Ducks. Coming in at number 7 after they upset Alabama in overtime at 7-2. It's the LSU Tigers.
Joe Burrow would be proud.
So think about this. LSU, if they win out, they will face Georgia in the SEC championship, right?
Yeah.
Because Georgia's going to win the SEC East. There's nobody who can stop them. Left on
absolutely nobody.
Right. So just let me throw this at you. Hypothetically, let's say LSU is able to pull off the upset against Georgia in the SEC championship. That would mean LSU, despite having 2 losses, on their resume would have wins against Alabama, Ole Miss, and then Georgia. You can't keep them out of the college football playoff, right? Even though they have 2 losses.
That is a very interesting thing. That'd be like, say Ohio State wins the Big Ten East, and, I don't know, Minnesota wins the Big Ten West, and Minnesota somehow pulls off the upset on Ohio State. Do you then put Minnesota on the college football playoff?
I don't think it's the same thing, because right now LSU's ranked number 7. They were ranked number 10 last week. So
that is true.
It's not I hear what you're saying, but it's not the same type of thing, because Minnesota's not like within striking distance of the college football playoff where they would be put into that conversation. Whereas LSU, if they run the table, they would have a very good argument to be in the college football playoff and be the first ever 2-loss team to be in the playoff.
I could have sworn there was a 2-loss team in there before.
Nope. There's never been one.
Huh.
Do you think that could realistically happen?
Maybe if like that college football playoff expansion that like is implementing next year, where there's going to be 6 teams instead of 4?
I believe it's 12 actually, not 6.
12. Okay. I don't know. It depends on like other teams, because there could be, by the time we get to the SEC championship, there could be no SEC teams in the top 4.
Wait, you think Georgia could lose before the SEC championship?
It's a hypothetical situation, and I doubt that's the case, but hypothetically, anything is hypothetically possible.
Right.
TCU by the time the college football playoff rolls around, hypothetically TCU could be the number one. It'll never happen, but hypothetically anything is possible.
Georgia has Mississippi State, Kentucky, and Georgia Tech left on their schedule.
The only team I see playing spoiler is Georgia Tech.
Oh, no way. Georgia has destroyed Georgia Tech the past few times they've played each other.
Yes, but remember, hypothetically, anything's possible.
That is true. I'll give you that. But
any given Sunday complex also works in college.
Yes. And okay, so after LSU at number 8 is 8-1 USC, the school you, Colin, Matt, and always give me crap about.
Yeah.
Because
I guarantee you one day it's just going to escalate and we're just going to buy you a bunch of USC gear.
Whatever. That's an inside joke for those of you watching. At number 9 is Alabama.
I thought Alabama would be pushed out of the top 10.
I think they should.
To be honest.
I think
they really should have.
Yeah.
Like, they lost to Tennessee and LSU.
They really, had it not been for a stupid roughing the passer penalty in week 2 against Texas, that should have been Alabama's 3rd loss of the season on Saturday against LSU.
Yeah.
Because I watched that game in week 2 against Texas. I think Alabama paid the refs or something.
Wouldn't be so surprising.
Anyway, Clemson, who got smashed by Notre Dame, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish, not Notre Dame College, because Clemson would absolutely destroy the Notre Dame College Falcons.
That is true.
So Clemson went to South Bend and absolutely got smashed. So they fell to number 10. So that's your top. So that's your top 10 for college football. Any major issues with the top 10, or do you think
Alabama too high?
Okay. So you think Alabama is too high? Do you think anybody is too low?
No, not necessarily. I think everyone else is just fine where they are. Okay. I don't know anyone outside the top 10, so I wouldn't be able to say oh, this team should be in top 10 instead of Alabama, but
right.
I just think that with 2 losses and the amount of close games they played against, teams that they should normally be curb stomping, I think Alabama's getting a little bit of that special treatment.
Okay, so let me give you just a couple of the teams outside of the top 10. We're not going to go through all the top 25. I'll just give you 11 through 15.
Okay.
So you at 11 is Ole Miss at 8-1. 12.
All right.
12 is UCLA.
All right.
13 is Utah.
All right.
14 is Penn State.
Okay.
15 is North Carolina.
You can make the case for 8-1. What was number 11 again?
Number 11, Ole Miss.
You can make the case for number 11, Ole Miss, to be ranked higher.
Well, it's funny you say that, because guess who plays each other this Saturday at Ole Miss?
Alabama and Ole Miss.
That's correct.
Maybe Ole Miss will win and show Alabama the door out of the top 10.
Yeah. Right now, according to ESPN, Alabama is a minus 12-point favorite.
That makes sense. They've usually dominated Ole Miss, but this ain't the same Alabama team.
Right.
They're kind of falling off.
we've seen Ole Miss pull off the upset against Alabama before, too.
I mean, yeah, when Eli Manning was their quarterback.
Oh, more recently than that,
I know.
it's happened. When Katy Perry was on College Game Day and she pulled the elephant mascot head off of Lee Corso.
I forgot that happened.
All right. But that's all the time we're going to spend on college football. The Browns are coming off the bye week, and they are taking on Tua, Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, and the Miami Dolphins this week in South Florida.
I'm not sure how to feel about this. Because on the one hand, I want the Browns to win. I believe they can do it. If we can beat Joe Burrow and the Bengals, which we've been routinely doing, I think that we can beat Tua. But at the same time, nothing is set in stone, and the Browns are still the Browns. They could do absolutely nothing this game, and I don't know how to feel.
Right. Here's what we know. When the Browns take on the Houston Texans in Week 13 on December 4th, Deshaun Watson is going to be the starting quarterback. Andrew Berry stated that because that'll be Deshaun's return from his suspension. And NFL, you can deny it all you want.
We know you pulled this shit for ratings. Exactly. You basically ruined a promising team for ratings. Thank you, NFL.
So, actually, it's interesting that you mentioned that. Before the season and before the schedule was released, I put out like a couple articles predicting like who the season opener would be against, who the home opener would be against, yada, yada, yada. And this is before the Deshaun Watson suspension was handed down. So I didn't know how many games it was going to be and all this and that. But taking into account the fact that the Browns had traded for Deshaun and Miami had traded for Tyreek, my thinking was, okay, let's have those two acquisitions, even though they wouldn't be on the field at the same time. Why not put them against each other right off the bat? So I actually had the Brown this Week 10 matchup happening in Week 1.
Ooh. See, that would have been a interesting matchup if Baker Mayfield hadn't gone to the Panthers, who were our Week 1 opponents. I feel like that Week 1 game between Cleveland and Carolina carried a little bit more weight than someone who never played for the Browns versus, the guy that the Browns traded for.
Right. But here's the other part of the equation. If you remember, and I think we briefly talked about this last week, the Dolphins were rumored to be interested in trading for Deshaun Watson,
is also true.
For a few seasons. So just think about this. Again, forget the Deshaun Watson suspension for a minute. Let's say Deshaun Watson was eligible to play, whether it was this week in Week 10 or if in my scenario in Week 1. Think about the questions Deshaun and Tua would have gotten. Maybe Deshaun gets questions like, what do you think it would have looked like if you were playing in Miami? And asking Tua, how does it feel to be playing against the quarterback the Dolphins were considering trading for to replace you? That type of thing. You know what I mean?
I mean, yes, those questions would certainly be interesting to have answered by the players themselves. But I feel like both quarterbacks would say, we'll see how this game plays out, and we're going to let our skills speak for us.
And that's fair. But I feel like that if Deshaun was playing, again, whether it's in real life in week 10 or in my hypothetical scenario, whatever, I feel like that would be the prevailing storyline. You know what I mean?
Yes,
Like how
100%.
when we played the Panthers week 1, it was Baker Mayfield going up against his former team, yada yada yada. Same type of
Yeah.
same idea.
No, I completely agree there.
But you disagree with something else, it sounds like.
No. Well, the major thing that I'm trying to figure out here is was Deshaun really did they want Deshaun to replace Tua, or because you said it was a few seasons ago? Tua's only in his third season, so maybe they were gearing up for someone else to take Tua in that 2020 draft, and maybe they were going to try and trade for Deshaun so that they have a backup plan just in case Tua got drafted by someone else.
Well, I know it was when Brian Flores was still the head coach of the Dolphins, and Deshaun was being discussed as in trade discussions, and I remember them saying that Deshaun wanted to go to Miami to play with Brian Flores and all this and that.
Oh, you know what? That was after Tua's rookie season. I remember that.
Yeah.
Because, there were huge questions about Tua, and there were also kind of huge questions about Deshaun, how they were bringing up, he's unhappy in Houston. He didn't like what trying to remember the name of his head coach.
Bill O'Brien.
What Bill O'Brien had done with, DeAndre Hopkins, trading him for David Johnson, who... Why?
That... Dude, that's Bill O'Brien for you.
He was good for 2 seasons, and then he just self-imploded.
It was one of the worst trades in NFL history.
One of them, yes, I will agree. There's been some pretty bad ones, the Browns trading for AJ McCarron and forgetting to get the paperwork in.
Yep. The trade that wasn't.
Oh, I love that one. Anyways, I want to cover a couple storylines from this week that I've been hearing around the sports world. First off,
hit me.
The Ottawa Senators may have a potential buyer from Hollywood in Deadpool star Ryan Reynolds.
I've heard about this.
As a fan of the Ottawa Senators and as a fan of Ryan Reynolds' acting, we will accept you as our owner, please.
So let me ask you this. If that were to happen, do you think Ryan Reynolds would possibly move the Senators out of Ottawa?
It's funny because he actually just did an interview talking about it, and he said he doesn't have plans to move the team. They're staying in Ottawa.
Okay.
Other news. A few champions have been crowned in the past week.
Yep, the Houston Astros. You could say they avenged their cheating scandal in 2017.
I was just actually about to ask you that if it is completely legit, if no cheating scandals are found within the next couple years, do you think they redeemed themselves for 2017? Are they redeemed in your mind?
It's such a, with how big the cheating scandal was, it's such a hard question to answer, because here's the thing. A lot of the players from the 2017 team were not on this year's Astros team. Like Jose Altuve, Alex Bregman, Lance McCullers Jr., and Justin Verlander are the only ones and Yuli Gurriel. They're the only ones I can think of from that 2017 team. If Carlos Correa, George Springer, and some other guys from that 2017 Astros team were on this year's team, I would say no. but because you had so many new guys, to a certain extent, I would say yes. I don't know if they'll ever fully redeem themselves for 2017. I think that could be like a permanent black eye on the
It's kind of like, do you think that the 2017 scandal will keep that entire team out of the Hall of Fame like the 1919 White Sox?
Oh,
Because I mean, both are bad cheating scandals.
right. And like, I know it's not necessarily cheating, but we all know what happened with Pete Rose. Like, he's not going into the Hall of Fame. Whether you agree,
Right.
whether you agree with that or not, that's a different discussion. We're not going to get into that whole thing. And
I mean, he bet on his own games. Like that's exactly what led the 1919 White Sox to throw an entire World Series is because of gambling.
right. And if you're talking about the whole cheating thing, of course you have to bring up Barry Bonds and Roger Clemens and their connections to steroids
And Alex Rodriguez as well. He had that whole thing with steroids.
right. So, I've heard people call Alex Rodriguez, his nickname is A-Rod.
Aroids.
Yeah, A-Roid. So, like, the whole thing with cheating and whether to put guys in the Hall of Fame or not, it's just such a complicated situation. And so I feel like I want to give you a definitive answer about, like, yes, Jose Altuve will end up in the Hall of Fame, or no, Jose Altuve will not end up in the Hall of Fame.
I mean, we don't know if like half the guys on that 2017 Astros team would even be worthy of the Hall of Fame. They just happen to be on a team that won a championship.
Right. Like, I think Justin Verlander, the star
pitcher, yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely, he'd be destined for the Hall of Fame. His longevity, look at his career stats.
Right. I think even though he was part of that 2017 Astros team, maybe he's not a first ballot Hall of Famer. He might not have been a first ballot Hall of Famer anyway, regardless, but maybe he would have been. We don't know.
I mean, I'd absolutely let him in. Well, I'd absolutely let him in. He was like only part of one. Or, I mean, yeah, it only takes 1 year to ruin everything. But at the same time, if you look at his career and longevity, he's better than I don't want to say most Hall of Fame pitchers, but he's better than a lot of pitchers that are in the Hall of Fame stats wise.
But that's what I'm saying also is, like, before he was with Houston, you could say he like solidified his place in the Hall of Fame during his time in Detroit with the Tigers.
He really was the Matthew Stafford of the MLB. Spent most of his career in Detroit, and then the second he gets out, he goes and wins the whole damn thing.
Yes, and now the Rams are Sucky McSuckerson. They suck.
Yeah, no, they really do. Okay, next thing in the news. Well, other champions. Joey Logano wins his second NASCAR Cup Series champion. And Jimmy Johnson is set to make a part-time return in the NASCAR Cup Series alongside a team he now co-owns, Petty GMS.
Nice. And then in MLS Cup, we had LAFC defeat the Philadelphia Union in penalty kicks.
Yep, that was interesting. That was an entire interesting playoffs. But yeah, congratulations to LAFC. Congratulations to Joey Logano. Congratulations to the Astros, and congratulations to all the champions who won this year.
Yes. Speaking of champions, we have two champions defending their respective UFC championship belts this weekend at UFC 281 from the world's most famous arena, Madison Square Garden. Shout out to Gangrene David. He is a New York Jets fan. I've done a couple video collaborations with him in the past. He is going to UFC 281 on Saturday. We will be watching it at a movie theater.
Yep.
But in the main event, Israel Adesanya, the last style bender, he is defending his UFC middleweight championship against a man he is very familiar with from his kickboxing days, Alex Pereira, who actually beat Adesanya not once, but twice.
The only person in Israel Adesanya's entire combat sports career to knock him out.
And then in the co-main event, we have Carla Esparza, Cookie Monster. She is seeking to defend her strawweight title for the first time against former champion Zhang Weili.
This is the natural first defense after beating Rose. Rose can't challenge
either one.
Well, I mean, she beat Zhang twice. She could challenge Zhang because she hasn't lost to her.
Right, but I don't think the UFC would realistically make that trilogy fight. I know
just yet.
I get it. They did the trilogy with Volkanovski and Holloway, but
I believe it was only because that second fight was so close that, Max realistically probably, according to Dana White, Max Holloway should have won that second fight.
Right. Which we'll get to Volkanovski in a few minutes because we definitely need to talk about what's next for him because it's clear what's next for him. But
oh yeah.
But we also have what I'm going to call the people's main event because I think people are interested in Adesanya versus Pereira. But come on, you know which one I'm talking about.
Dustin the Diamond Poirier versus Michael Chandler. This is basically a redux of last year's people's main event between Gaethje and Chandler. Correct. This is going to be fight of the night, and if it delivers on the fireworks of that fight, it very well damn could be fight of the year.
Okay, remind me. Was Gaethje Chandler 3 rounds or was it 5?
It was a 3-round. It went the full 3 rounds.
I do remember when the distance. I just couldn't remember if it was 3 or 5 rounds.
Yeah. It won fight of the night, and I actually believe it won fight of the year 2021.
I wouldn't be surprised. But
there weren't many good fights last year.
Well, there was the Figueiredo Moreno first fight.
That is true. And also Volkanovski Ortega, I heard, was a masterpiece.
Oh, that fight. I didn't watch the pay-per-view the night of, but I've gone back and watched that fight. It was freaking fast.
Oh yeah, I watch that fight every so often just to think like, my God, how did he survive that? Yeah. How did he not pass out? That choke was locked in.
Oh, I know. I don't know.
I guarantee you, Daniel Cormier was holding his breath, getting ready to say, and knew.
Yeah. But anyway, let's get back to Adesanya Pereira. So Adesanya is looking to defend his belt for like the 5th or 6th time at least, if I'm doing the math.
Well, let's see. There was Yoel Romero.
Right. And then Vittori, I believe.
No, there was one before that.
Costa.
The first Costa. Then it was Vittori after the failed light heavyweight fight.
Mm-hmm.
Then it was Whitaker.
And then it was Cannonier.
Yeah, so this will be his 6th defense.
Okay. So, I don't know much about Alex Pereira. I don't know if he's a wrestler.
He's a kickboxer.
Okay, so
him and Izzy have a pretty similar fighting style.
Right. I know Pereira primarily goes southpaw from what I heard from the experts, such
That
as
is correct.
whereas Adesanya likes to switch stances, so that could give him the advantage because
Izzy is a very tricky fighter to defend against.
right,
When he's like 100% on his game, like he was in that Costa fight, you saw how hard Costa was trying to keep up.
right.
He just couldn't.
Oh my God, Paulo Costa's tweets right now are freaking hilarious. Like, trying to take shots at USADA and all that.
Oh yeah.
Oh
yeah, I've seen some of those tweets. I'm like, bro, what is you doing?
Whatever. Whatever.
Oh yeah, did you hear his excuse after he lost to Izzy?
Something like he drank wine or something.
He drank too much wine and was hung over. Yeah, okay, buddy. You got raw dogged by the style bender. Come on.
So, do you? Yeah, that was.
Tucked all that trash.
Yeah.
Tucked all that trash.
I honestly, if it's not Pereira who takes the title off of Adesanya, I don't know what middleweight contender is out there that could do it.
There's two men that could do it, and neither of them are currently middleweights. Actually, three. Sorry, three.
All right.
There's one that all three of them are welterweights.
All three are welterweights. Okay. Wait, don't tell me. I'm gonna look at the welterweight rankings.
I will tell you this. I will give you this hint. None of them are currently the champion.
Okay, so it's not Leon.
It is not Leon.
Okay. I'm going to go with Hamzat Chimaev.
That's one.
I'm going to go with the former welterweight champion who has gained a trilogy against Leon Edwards at some point, Kamaru Usman.
That's the second one.
And for my third guess, you know which fighter I want to see move up to middleweight. And I know he wouldn't get the shot right away, but I think it would be such a good matchup. I'm going with Chaos, Colby.
That was the third one. I was thinking Colby Covington because when Anderson Silva was having his bout of boring fights back in like the, I don't want to say early 2010s maybe, after that Demian Maia fight, there was one man who wanted to give the champ the fight of his life, and that was the bad guy, Chael Sonnen. And I think if there's a Chael Sonnen who is currently in the UFC, it's Colby Covington. He acts like Chael Sonnen. He fights like Chael Sonnen. He's a heel like Chael Sonnen. He is the UFC's current Chael Sonnen. And I think if anyone's going to give Israel Adesanya the fight of his life to spark back that fighting spirit, it's going to be Colby Covington.
I've been telling you for a while that would be a great fight.
Oh, no, I 100% agreed. I just didn't think it would happen realistically, but I want to see it happen. I want to see Izzy get that fight.
How many times have I brought that idea up in the Combat Sports Fans Discord server?
It's got to be every time one of the two of them is up for a fight.
Seems like it. Like, it would just be such a good matchup stylistically. Colby wants to take the fight to the mat and wrestle you, although he's shown that he is a
very, very skilled striker.
Oh, yeah. He is not a slouch when it comes to striking, but his bread and butter is wrestling and taking the fight down to the campus.
Also, could you imagine the walkouts? It'd be like WrestleMania, because Colby Covington does the whole Kurt Angle thing.
And then Izzy just puts on a show during his walkouts.
I'm thinking I'm thinking just this once, we're gonna hear. He's gonna come out to Stone Cold Steve Austin's theme.
Oh, good God. Your second option, though, Kamaru Usman against Israel Adesanya. I don't think we're ever going to see that fight.
They're friends in real life, and Tito, or I believe his name. Yeah, Tito Ortiz put it best when people wanted him to fight. Or no, Chuck Liddell. Or no, maybe it was Tito that put it best when people wanted him to fight Chuck Liddell. I don't want to fight my friend.
Yeah. I mean, it was Ortiz and Liddell who eventually ended up in like a vicious rivalry, though, right?
That is correct. Over the former middleweight belt, now the light heavyweight belt. Because I was back when the middleweight division was 205.
Gotcha. But yeah, so as much as I would love to see Usman and Adesanya fight, I don't think it's ever going to happen.
And I think with Khamzat Chimaev, oh my God, that would be one of the most energetic fights you could think of.
I think Khamzat should move up to middleweight.
He's listed as welterweight middleweight in EA Sports UFC 4. They have him at middleweight, and they rarely have people up a weight class unless they fight that weight class, because Israel Adesanya is only at light heavyweight because of the fight against Jan Blachowicz. Which, by the way, I think that if Yuri Prochazka does win the belt against Glover Teixeira, Jan should be his next opponent.
Yes, which that is the main event for UFC 282. We're not getting Jones Miocic at that fight because...
Dang, this is going to be the first year in a while without a Stipe fight.
That is true. I don't know if Yuri Prochazka against Glover Teixeira is a big enough fight to headline a pay-per-view in Las Vegas.
I mean, we've certainly seen lesser fights headline one.
Yeah.
I mean, Connor's a big name, but that Dustin 3 fight left a lot to be desired.
Yeah, that is true.
I mean, yeah, he got injured, but one round, man. You lasted one round.
Right. But anyway, switching gears, no pun intended there. It is a combat sports fan's dream these 3 weeks, because last week we had WWE put on their Crown Jewel premium live event. Screw it, I'm just calling it a pay-per-view. Whatever.
Yeah, Vince. It's called a pay-per-view. McMahon.
It's because the shows, stream on Peacock now.
Yeah. Okay. I want to understand why they gave Logan a whatchamacallit
against Roman.
Not the title shot. The title shot I was fine with. I thought it was against Squash. I didn't think Logan Paul would get his very own near fall.
Oh, he got multiple near falls.
Well, I was talking about the lucky punch.
Oh yeah. Well,
the one that went the 2 count.
Well, that's what the whole the whole storyline was built around. Logan was saying, "What if I land that one lucky punch?" and yada yada yada.
Oh yeah.
So that's what the whole feud was built around. So yeah.
Yeah.
But they gave Logan the title shot for that one because Saudi Arabia shows are big events for WWE, but I think they feel more like house shows.
Yeah, Crown Jewel has never been if you look at the first ever Crown Jewel in 2018, if you saw what that show was, oh God. Yeah,
Crown Jewel has never been one of their WWE strongest events.
Shane McMahon?
Yeah.
AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe for about the 5 billionth time.
It's because WWE loves doing rematches. What do you want from them?
I mean, yeah, we did get Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for about half a century.
Exactly. But we do have War Games coming up, which that's gonna be fun. That is,
We have one War Games match confirmed, which I believe is Damage Control versus Bianca Belair, Alexa Bliss,
and Asuka.
and Asuka. I think they're gonna somehow insert Dana Brooke onto that team because of the whole Nikki Cross thing.
I don't think so. I don't. It's hard to say with that one. Realistically, this is what I would love to see happen. I don't think it's going to, because I don't think they would do a mixed War Games match. But the OC now added Mia Yim to deal with Rhea Ripley.
Right.
So why not do a mixed War Games match? I don't see any problem with that.
I mean, I don't understand what exactly is a War Game match? Is it like a standard tag match? Is it like a tornado tag match?
Okay, so it's 2 rings inside inside of a steel structure. And
so it's like the blood and guts match from AEW.
yes. And it's basically a free for all. Like wrestlers come in at different times for each team. So it basically is like blood and guts for AEW.
Okay.
And usually there's a men's War Games match and a women's War Games match.
Okay.
Because, like, when they've done standard mixed tag team matches in the past with WWE.
Like that mixed match challenge from last year.
Right. Or, like, if we've had, like, at the Royal Rumble last year, it was Beth Phoenix and Edge against The Miz and Maurice.
Right.
If Miz gets tagged in, Edge comes in.
Yes.
If Beth Phoenix tags in, then Maurice comes in.
It's not like AEW where you could have Sammy Guevara super kick Ty Conti like at Double or Nothing.
Well, no, because when Carl Anderson and Finn Balor were having a match a couple weeks ago, Rhea Ripley gave Luke Gallows a body slam on the outside of the ring.
But
what I'm saying is, like, during a standard mixed tag team match, you'll never have, like, The Miz face off against Beth Phoenix if those two sides were having a mixed tag team match. Or, like, if I know this would be a WWE AEW crossover, which at some point we'll revisit our AEW WWE Forbidden Door pay-per-views, but that's a different show at a different time. But hypothetically, if Adam Cole and Britt Baker were facing Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae, because both teams there are either married or they're in significant relationships, you would never see Britt face Johnny. You would never see Adam Cole face Candice LeRae.
Right.
So I do get that, but I would personally love to see them do like a mixed War Games match.
Yeah, I think the other major one is something. There's going to be a War Games match involving the Bloodline, whether that's against the Brawling Brutes and the New Day, or another group like, say, Imperium comes in with another couple guys.
Yeah, I mean, the Bloodline are on the main poster for Survivor Series War Games, so most likely they'll be in a War Games match. But we'll see.
I think that if we do get that, I think it should be the Brawling Brutes and the New Day, with either Sheamus or Big E being the 5th member.
It would most likely be Sheamus. The reason he
Yeah.
was written off TV a couple weeks ago is actually because he was getting married.
Yeah, I'd actually seen some pictures of Cesaro / Claudio Castagnoli, Miro, aka Rusev, and Drew McIntyre at the wedding.
Yes. So, but you bring up Claudio Castagnoli and Miro. Let's talk Full Gear because
We only have what, 2 matches confirmed?
So the matches we have confirmed so far, we've got
Actually,
Moxley
3. Sorry.
against MJF for
Yep.
the World Championship. We've got the Women's Interim World Championship match, Toni Storm against Jamie Hayter. We've got the Acclaimed against Swerve in Our Glory 3. I'm trying to remember if there's any other matches.
There's that fatal 4-way between Guevara, Jericho,
Danielson,
and
Castagnoli.
Oh, it is Claudio. Okay.
Yeah, for the Ring of Honor World Championship. So those are the match. Oh, and there's also going to be the final for the number 1 contender match. For the World Championship.
I think we'll get a couple more matches, and that's like tomorrow.
Right. Powerhouse Hop. I can tell you a couple matches are probably going to get announced. Powerhouse Hobbs has been targeting Wardlow the past few weeks for the TNT Championship, so I think that match is going to get made official. You've had the Acclaimed, or I'm sorry, not the Acclaimed, FTR.
The Gun Club and FTR.
Right.
We're actually getting that 8-man tag tomorrow.
Correct. It's going to be the Acclaimed and FTR going against the Gun Club and Swerve in Our Glory. We have a 2 out of 3 falls count match happening tomorrow. Sammy Guevara against Bryan Danielson.
Oh man, Danielson's really just taking on every member of the JAS at this point. Just throw him against Daniel Garcia. You know you want it to happen.
They already did that.
I know, but like now that Garcia has gone like full heel, I guarantee you he wants Danielson to finally go down.
Luchasaurus against Jungle Boy, Jack Perry. That match has to get announced because Jack Perry made his return last week and just wrecked.
Oh my God, he did.
During that triple threat match for the All Atlantic Championship.
I honestly thought that Rey Fenix was gonna get that. He was doing amazingly well.
Yeah. I'm not sure if they're gonna do Saraya, the former Paige in WWE, against Britt at Full Gear, or if Tony Khan is going to stick to his 1 women's match per pay-per-view rule. And
wait, no, he usually does more.
Not that I've seen.
At Double or Nothing, we had Jade Cargill versus Anna Jay, and we actually had 3 at Double or Nothing because we had the final for the women's Owen Hart tournament. We had Jade versus Anna Jay, and then we had Serena Deeb versus Thunder Rosa. And then at All Out, we had 2. We had Athena versus Jade, and we had that fatal 4-way for the interim women's title.
Okay, so let me rephrase. I don't think Tony Khan is going to deviate from doing... I know the Owen Hart was not a championship match, or it kind of was because Adam Cole and Britt both won belts, but they're never going to defend them because that's just not the point.
Yeah. It's like the up, down, down tournament.
But anyway.
That's a video game tournament.
I guess what I'm saying is, like, I don't think TK is going to deviate from having the women's champion women's matches on the pay-per-views only be championship matches. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
As much as I would love to see Britt against Saraya at Full Gear, I feel like they're going to end up doing it at the Winter is Coming TV special.
Probably that's probably what's going to happen. I think we should get Jade Cargill versus Nyla Rose at the pay-per-view.
Right. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of other matches I'd like to see at the pay-per-view.
If Danielson wasn't involved with this involved in this fatal four-way, they had been teasing tension between him and Wheeler Yuta.
I'm surprised they're not doing anything with that. They might do something with that at Winter is Coming.
I was kind of hoping, that they would do that and have Yuta challenge Danielson to a match at Full Gear. I was kind of waiting for that.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to think of the other.
I don't know who Death Triangle is going to defend their trios championships against.
Trying to think of trios we haven't seen them. It could be the Dark. Oh wait, no, they already did that against the Dark Order.
Maybe Eddie Kingston, Santana, and Ortiz.
Maybe the House of Black. Malachi Black has been teasing a return.
They did a teaser video last week, actually.
Yeah, I saw it. I think it could be the House of Black because Death Triangle and the House of Black have had a fantastic feud, or they had one earlier back before Double or Nothing.
What's that? Oh yeah.
That's when Julia Hart joined.
That's right, and they haven't really done anything with her since.
But she's been mostly wrestling on Dark, and she's usually just there to kind of cast distraction and take Malachi Black's mask off.
Right, but either way, Tony Khan, please don't try to stuff 12 matches onto a pay-per-view. Look at what WWE is doing. They're only playing maybe 8 matches at most on a pay-per-view, and that means each match is fans are able to fully enjoy each match.
Yeah, you put 12 matches on each card, and then every match has to have shenanigans.
Right, it's too much.
Did we really need the debut of Stokely Hathaway and Athena after Jade Cargill versus Anna Jay?
I don't know.
Did we really need Stokely Hathaway's goons to jump everyone at the casino ladder match?
Yeah, that whole thing was stupid because
it ruined it. You saw. Because we were all there, all of our friends. We were all in one room, and the mood around the room switched from "Oh my god, this is so cool" to "What the fuck just happened?" That mood switch killed. That probably killed half of All Out for me. Was just the ending to that first thing.
Which the firm is. Which is what that turned into. Lee Moriarty, the Gun Club, W. Morrissey, and All Ego Ethan Page, along with Stokely, they turned on MJF.
I saw the fall from it on Ups and Downs. Also, what was that whole business with Matt Hardy? Yeah, let's just take his signature finisher that he's had since the 90s and give it to someone who probably doesn't know how to properly execute it.
It's because that was some storyline that
I guarantee you, if they do continue that storyline, because if Matt Hardy's supposed to be back from suspension, I knew you're gonna call me crazy, but
You mean Jeff Hardy?
Yeah, I want him to return. Please, just let me have my Hardy Boys in peace.
Okay, more than that, why is Miro not being used on the show?
Where's Miro? Where was Sting?
Okay, there's something happening with Sting. I don't know what it is, but like,
He went missing.
Darby cut a promo saying like, I've told Sting that I don't to just stay away. Like, I want to be able to, not that Sting is taking away his spotlight, but like, I want to be able to do this on my own type thing.
I'm guessing it was that whole Jay Lethal thing.
Yeah.
And then Jeff Jarrett. I guarantee you, if Jeff Jarrett tries to interfere with a match in Darby at the pay-per-view, Sting is gonna come back and he's gonna come save his boy.
Right. Which at the pay-per-view, it's basically guaranteed. The Elite are coming back.
The Elite better come back.
I mean, with all the videos.
Please bring CM Punk with you.
No.
Please.
Dude, okay.
The fans want him. The fans are demanding Punk.
No, they're not.
You can hear the chants. CM Punk.
You are talking out of your ass right now.
It's just like, you what? It's just like, next time AEW comes to Cleveland, I'm the only one chanting CM Punk.
Oh my God.
I would do it too. That's going to be the culmination of my full heel turn.
Good God. What the hell is wrong with you?
I'm Seth Rollins, but without the drip.
Seth Rollins is actually, it seems like he's slowly turning back into a baby face.
Why? He worked so much better as a heel. Also, Austin, on a mid-card title, it was an open challenge, dude. You are like the biggest idiot ever.
It was clear, though, that Austin Theory was Vince McMahon's boy, not Triple H.
How are you going to believably... How I want to know, in the mind of Vince McMahon, how this man would have realistically cashed in and beat Roman.
I don't know. But
it can't happen. He actually had a tag team at some point or he was in a faction at some point with Johnny Gargano and Candice LeRae, The Way.
Yes.
That was, I believe, an NXT faction?
Yes, correct. Okay, so we're about at an hour 3. So for these final 5 minutes, we're going to stay with wrestling. I know we've gone deep into wrestling, but that's a deep passion of ours.
Yep.
Not every show is going to be this wrestling heavy. Some shows we're going to talk more hockey. Some shows we're going to talk more football. Other shows
we're going to talk more UFC or more basketball.
Correct. Which the Cavs' winning streak did come to an end last night
against the Clippers.
Yes. Which was unfortunate because we could have passed the Milwaukee Bucks in the Eastern Conference standings for and taken over the number 1 spot.
Yeah, and now we gotta play Golden State.
We got a game tomorrow. We actually face De'Aaron Fox and the.
Oh, that's right. And then after that, it's Golden State.
Correct. Yeah, November's gonna be challenging for the Cavs because they have Sacramento and then Golden State. They come home for 1 game on Sunday, which I would love to go to that game.
What game is that?
It's against Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, Anthony Edwards, and the Minnesota Timberwolves. So we'll see.
I'd absolutely be down for that.
And then they go right back on the road to play Giannis.
Oh.
after that, we start a 4-game homestand. First against LaMelo Ball and the Charlotte Hornets. And then you get a doubleheader on a Sunday-Monday doubleheader, or back-to-back, I should say. First against Jimmy Butler and the Miami Heat.
Ooh, that's going to be a tough one.
And then the next day, Trae Young comes to town.
Oh, we know how everyone feels about Trae Young. I believe Knicks fans put it best.
Yes. And then to close out the homestand, Dame Time comes to town. And
when is that game?
I don't remember. I believe I don't remember.
All right, if we're both available for that game, let's go, because I do want to see the Portland Trailblazers come to Cleveland.
I actually already have tickets for that game.
Dang it! All right, I'll ask Matt.
Sorry. But after that, we have a 3-game homestand, or 3-game road trip, I'm sorry. It starts at Giannis.
Ooh, fun.
And then a Sunday, Monday back-to-back. First against the Detroit Pistons in Detroit.
Yes.
And then the next day at Toronto.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
And then to close out November, after playing at Toronto, who do we have to come home and face? Joel Embiid.
Oh, I don't like that.
Yeah. And yes, I just rattled off the remaining schedule for the Cavs for the month of November.
Wow.
Yeah. I wrote an article about that recently, so that's why I haven't memorized.
So I guess now we talk Roman Reigns, the WWE Undisputed Champion. Who will dethrone him?
Undisputed Universal Champion.
I'll just call him the Undisputed Champion. He's got both the WWE and Universal belts. And if you think about it, the Universal belt's pointless, really.
They made that belt because of the fans being called the WWE Universe. So
that's as I believe Taz would call that stupid.
Yeah, that's like how the Jericho Appreciation Society is calling the AEW fans like AEW Galaxy. That's like so that would be like AEW saying, "Here's the Galaxy World Championship" or something like that.
It'd be the AEW Galactic Championship.
Yes.
I would buy that instantly.
That would be hilarious. I would not be surprised if it does happen.
I will be the first ever AEW Galactic Champion.
Okay, anyway, getting back to the main point.
Who will dethrone him? Who do you believe will overthrow him? Who realistically?
Okay. Who do we want to dethrone him?
Yes.
Who do we actually want? Or who do we actually believe will dethrone him? So in terms of who I want to see dethrone him, it's the current NXT champion, Braun Breaker. I know Gangrene David has said multiple times to me in the Combat Sports Fan Discord server, which I founded and created. So I feel like a proud father with how well that server is going.
Yes.
Maybe that's the wrong phrasing, but whatever. Fuck it. But anyway, yes, I would love to see Braun Breaker lose the NXT championship, get called up to the main roster, maybe be involved in a couple feuds before facing Roman, and then put him against Roman and have him be the one to take the title.
So here's who I want to dethrone Roman, and I'm looking inwards. I'm looking at that bloodline. I'm looking at that storyline, and I'm looking at the honorary Uce himself, Sami Zayn.
I think that's what like a lot of WWE fans want based on like how the storyline is going. But we all know what's actually going to happen. The Bloodline are eventually going to turn on Sami, and he'll team with Kevin Owens, and they'll be the ones to take the tag team titles from the Usos. That's where it's headed.
I think the tag team titles will be taken off the Usos sooner, just to create a little more tension in the bloodline. And I think it's going to happen this Friday against the greatest tag team in WWE history, The New Day.
Which, by the way, if the Usos win that match, they will break the New Day's record for the longest title reign as tag team champions.
Which I think that's why it's not going to happen.
We'll see.
I just think that, like, if the New Day gets that record, if they can keep that record, I think that's what should keep happening. Anytime anyone gets close to the New Day's record, the New Day will just challenge the team, beat them, and then maybe like a little bit down the line loses the titles back.
Okay, so I want it to be Braun Breaker. You want it to be Sami Zayn. Now, who do we believe will actually do it?
Well, I believe it's going to be someone who a lot of people expect it to be, and that's Cody Rhodes.
For me, first of all, I don't want it to be Cody Rhodes.
I don't either.
That's not because like I'm upset with him for leaving AEW and all that. That has nothing to do with it. I'm just personally not a Cody Rhodes fan.
I'm not big on Cody Rhodes either. Even like the one match I saw him in AEW, which was the first ever AEW match I saw, I was like, well, I like the Sammy Guevara kid, but the other guy was kind of boring.
Oh, right. That was
the TNT ladder match.
Right, for the Beach Break in Cleveland, where that was your first ever AEW event, where after the main event between Adam Cole and
Orange Cassidy,
you and I just looked at each other. We're like, why did we not buy tickets and go to that?
Yeah, honestly, like, seeing that main event in person would have been awesome, and I heard the Rampage was actually pretty good.
I don't even remember what matches were on that Rampage, but
I know Jade Cargill had a match on that Rampage.
Anyway, okay, so you think it will actually be Cody Rhodes?
I mean, it kind of has to be with like his return and all that. It just like it seems like it would trend that way no matter who's in charge. Tony Khan could be in charge, and he'd throw Cody Rhodes at Roman to dethrone him.
I don't know about that one, because it didn't seem like him and TK really saw eye to eye in AEW. But
he was an EVP. It was, I mean, they kind of had to get along.
Anyway, even though they already did the feud and had a match at the Royal Rumble last year, their feud was so good. Like, because I think you know who I'm talking about. He's the current United States champion.
Didn't they also have a match at WrestleMania this year?
No.
Wait, then what was the match that Seth Rollins came out with the Shield gear? Oh, that was SummerSlam, wasn't it?
No, that's the match I'm talking about, Royal Rumble.
Oh.
It was their feud leading up to that match was so freaking good. Oh
yeah, didn't like Roman mention Moxley?
No,
or not Roman, Seth mentioned Moxley.
Yeah, Seth did. And oh my God, the feud was so good. And like
Seth coming out from the crowd at that match with the Shield attire. Did he have the blonde streak or?
No.
He should have completed the look with the blonde streak because that was Seth's look. Was that blonde streak in his hair?
He actually has started going back to that now.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah, he's going back to looking like what he was in NXT.
I forgot. Weren't they in the same NXT class with Bray Wyatt, all three members of the Shield? Because I know Luke Harper, a.k.a. Brody Lee, rest in peace, and Eric Rowan were also part of that NXT class.
You might be right about that, but either way, I know they already had their feud. I know they already had their match. But, oh my God. If Seth
dethroned Roman,
it would just be the storyline.
Didn't that? Oh wait, no, that didn't happen. Cause I remember there was one night where all three members of the Shield held the WWE title.
I think that might have been at a Money in the Bank event.
Because I know Dean Ambrose took it off of Roman, and then Seth, I believe, cashed in on Dean or something like that.
Yeah, I think I know what you're talking about. I don't know if it was because of a Money in the Bank cash in or what. Seth has cashed in to win the WWE Championship before. It's one of the greatest moments in WWE history at WrestleMania 31 when Lesnar and Roman were having their match for the WWE Championship and Seth cashed in and became champ.
Yeah.
It's one of the most iconic moments in WWE history. You could make an argument that it's the greatest Money in the Bank cash in WWE.
What about CM Punk's cash in on Jeff Hardy, or was it Jeff Hardy's cash in on CM Punk? That led to that ladder match.
Hence why I said you could make an argument that
yes, because I think that one is personally a lot better because of the fact that Jeff and CM Punk were already feuding. It led to one of the greatest title matches in that ladder match.
Right. Personally, and maybe this is because I'm a huge Seth Rollins fan, as you know, but personally, for me, that Seth Rollins cash in at WrestleMania 31 is the greatest Money in the Bank cash in. But I'm not just gonna disqualify arguments for other matches. I would hear them, like what you're talking about now.
Because that was the first ever successful cash-in, I believe, was CM Punk on Jeff Hardy.
You might be right about that. I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah.
But we are at an hour 17. We could keep talking for hours and hours, but
yep.
I don't think we want to do that because we want people to actually, watch the show. And
that is true. And a long time is not going to get us a lot of views.
Right. Unless you really build up your audience and they stayed tuned in. So with that, we're at the hour 18 mark. I think we'll draw it out to the final 2 minutes and go an hour 20 and then call it quits.
Yep.
By the way, did you know the Edmonton Oilers are playing the Tampa Bay Lightning tonight?
Really? Any either team wearing reverse retros or?
Not that I know of.
Okay, because both those teams actually have fantastic reverse retros this year.
Right now, with 12:02 to go in the third period, Edmonton 3, Tampa Bay 2.
Wow, close game.
Yes. Winnipeg is leading Dallas 4-1 at the end of the second period.
I believe Pittsburgh plays tomorrow night.
Yes, against Washington.
Oh, please beat the Capitals. Please get out of your goddamn losing streak.
Yes. The Philadelphia Flyers smashed the St. Louis Blues 5-1.
Oof. Yeah, the Blues are right now the worst team in the league.
Yeah. We'll see if they're able to replicate 2019. Because they were in a similar situation, but 2 different
The
years.
Blue Jackets, also bad.
Yes. With 2 minutes to go in the third period, Arizona is up 4-1 against Buffalo.
What is Arizona this year? They're beating teams they shouldn't be able to beat.
Yeah, I don't know. You got Nashville and Seattle playing at 10 o'clock tonight.
Ooh, that's going to be a good one.
You got Minnesota facing LA at 10:30.
Okay. Minnesota and LA, that's another decent one.
New Jersey, the Devils defeated the Calgary Flames 3-2.
Oh yeah. I heard Matthew Tkachuk got suspended 2 games for high sticking Jonathan Quick.
I did not hear about that.
And former Blue Jacket Josh Anderson got 2 games. I don't remember what the transgression was, but it was some I believe cross checking.
In the Battle of New York, the Islanders came away with the 4-3 victory.
Ooh. Yep. Go Islanders. I'm not I do not like the Rangers at all. Never did.
Vancouver beat Ottawa tonight 6-4. In overtime, the Vegas Golden Knights defeated the Toronto Maple Leafs 4-3.
Ha! Toronto sucks.
And then in a shootout, Montreal defeated Detroit 3-2.
Okay, so pretty standard fair stuff. Well, except for Montreal winning. I'm not used to that yet.
Yeah.
Last year was weird for them. They made the Stanley Cup final and then finished dead last.
Yeah. So tomorrow we've got Penguins, Capitals.
Yep.
Hurricanes, Panthers.
Okay.
Canucks against the Canadiens. And then the Wild against the Anaheim Ducks.
Ah, yes.
So that's your slate of games for tonight and tomorrow. And we are over the hour 20 minute mark. So we are going to wrap things up here.
Yep.
Thank you to everyone who tuned in. Thank you to everyone who's going to watch this live stream after it gets published to my YouTube channel. We do this thing every Tuesday, typically at 7:30 till about 8:30. Although, as you can see, sometimes we go later. We just had to push it back an hour because I had plans going on. But we usually talk college football playoff rankings because they come out around this time. We talk NFL football. We talk NBA basketball, hockey, UFC, WWE, AEW, all the standards.
All 9 yards.
Yes. We don't usually talk Major League Baseball thing. That's just not our thing.
I mean, I like baseball, but talking about it, it's kind of hard to talk about.
Yeah. And that's more your friend Ben Faders.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get him on the show one of these days.
I was thinking the same.
Yeah. But I'm the Max. That's the boss. Again, maybe we might not keep this as Step It Up moving forward. Maybe we'll do something with our names in the future, like how Daniel Cormier and Ryan Clark made their show DC and RC. Maybe we'll do something like the Max and Boss or something like that. We'll keep you posted. But until next time for another episode of the Sports Room, I'm Unger to the Max. That's Seaboss.
I'm Seaboss.
We'll see you later.
Yep. And don't forget to